Craig Counsell is the new manager of the Chicago Cubs from out of nowhere. Some have said it's from out of left field. Uh, what the fuck? I was on Twitter just randomly Monday afternoon. I saw, I knew Counsell had been interviewing with the Mets and the Guardians, potentially the Yankees, and there was a little bit of talk about that, minor things on Twitter. I saw Bruce Levine tweeted there may be a mystery team involved in Craig Counsell, and I was really about to write back to him like, I could say that about anything. There may be a
Yeah,
mystery
right,
team like that.
right.
That's
I know.
meaningless, like a total meaningless tweet. What I didn't realize is that Bruce probably knew it was involving the fucking Cubs, and just didn't necessarily tweet it very emphatically. But about maybe a half hour after that, uh, I just happened to jump on, and 10 seconds before I jumped on, Ken Rosenthal tweeted that Craig Counsell is indeed going to the Chicago Cubs. And I literally went to like the source page, like the account, because I was sure it was just a parody account. Like there's no
Right.
chance. Like, when I saw the mystery team, I thought, Yankees. There's also a rumor it was a team that did not have a manager vacancy. So I thought everybody hates Aaron Boone, so he's probably gone. Uh, but I looked, and the Ken Rosenthal account I was looking at had over 1 million followers. I'm like, this is fucking real. So I couldn't believe it. I don't think anyone could believe it. Nobody saw it coming. I think I sent you a text, or did I tweet you right away?
You
Like,
did.
what the fuck is going on? Not that you would necessarily care, but I thought you'd be interested in some baseball conversation. But
Yeah, it seems like I said, it felt like a White Sox move, but
yeah, I saw that. What does that mean? Just a dick move?
well, no, just like you get the whether he's you grab the best thing that's out there, but when you look at the full resume, it's not that impressive.
Oh, okay.
And like
That's interesting.
you look at a guy who's had some pretty quality teams in the Brewers, and his playoff percentage is a 338 winning percentage.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
we're gonna jump into
like,
the anti category right now.
well, yeah. I mean, I guess it's better than David Ross because of the epic collapse at the end of the year on a team that everyone forgets shouldn't have won more than probably 75 games, but somehow managed to nearly make the playoffs. But he's a shitty manager. I mean, like,
Ooh.
I just like
You went on this
I don't think
diatribe last
I what
episode,
I
which I
did,
appreciated.
I don't. I'm not saying Counsell is or is not a better manager than David Ross, but I don't think you've made a step forward. I think you've lateraled.
I think you are in the drastic minority in that opinion, and that's fine.
Doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right, that's true, and we will certainly find out. I think it's an improvement, and I think it's obvious it's an improvement, but I would leave it open to argument how much of an improvement any manager could make. I would say, and I think we talked about this for a while. I like Rossi, and we'll get into that in a bit. I think he was a average to above average manager at best. I don't think he was great. I don't think he was terrible by any means. I think a lot of uh, Cubs Twitter thought he was a terrible manager, blaming him on every bullpen failure that wasn't his fault. My only consistent criticism of Rossi was he loved a bunt, and I just think a bunt is a waste of an out. You only get 27 of them, and they're precious, and he threw them away too often. But that's still a minor thing. Although Jed Hoyer has been on the radio several times, subtly complaining about how often David Ross had bunted over the years. So there's some validity there at least. But I think with the limited payroll, with the limited resources that the Brewers have had over the years, for the consistent winning that Craig Counsell has done over time, not in the small sample size of the playoffs. Obviously, you can definitely hold that against him, but I think that's always going to be the small sample size. But I think he's gotten the absolute most out of those rosters that he's had over 9 years in Milwaukee. I think it has to be an improvement. I don't know if that means 2 wins, 3 wins. We've heard managers are worth maybe 4 or 5 wins per year or losses. I think that could be 1 or 2 is it. So I think that's interesting though. But I think the other interesting part of it is, well, there's several, but the Cubs made this monumental splash that the whole baseball world is shocked over and is talking about. And, everyone's initial reactions are, that's a fucking cold-hearted gangster move. They are not fucking around anymore. They are going for it. Where and that was my initial reaction too. And the more I thought about it, they're spending $40 million for a manager instead of the average 20, 25 million over 5 years. They've got him for a 5-year deal for $40 million. That's like a very low end free agent signing. That's a very cheap way to get a lot of talk about your team right now and get everyone on board thinking you were going to be not fucking around anymore, as they did a lot last year with, I called it confusing activity with accomplishment, over and over again with their free agent signings. I find this interesting. It's also a move that counts nothing towards the luxury tax, which is shrewd. It's a way to improve your team without stopping you from spending other monies if they so choose, which they fucking better. So I am 100% for this. Again, I liked Rossi. I think this is an improvement over Ross. We'll talk about we'll find out how much of an improvement. I would say Craig Counsell is a top 5 manager in the majors. I would also include your Bob Melvin over there. Bruce Bochy, your former manager, who is now a 4-time World Series champion. I would put AJ Hinch in that conversation, which I'm not sure others would, but he's a manager. That's a group of managers that I do not question necessarily when they're making bullpen moves or other things. And I think there's a confidence, there's a track record. You can see that Craig Counsell has maximized the assets that he has for years, and he has more assets available to him. He definitely wanted to come to the Cubs. He could have gone anywhere. He did interview with the Mets. I thought he was going to go to the Mets for sure. His former general manager just went there, so it seemed like a pretty simple transaction to move with your general manager that you've been with for 10 years right over to a team that has unlimited resources. He didn't want to do that. Apparently it comes down to family and proximity. He literally just moves 90 minutes down the road where his family can still stay in Wisconsin. He was born in Wisconsin, which is amazing. He's the most Brewers player / manager you could ever have. I guess he's got daughters in high school there. He's got sons playing at 2 different Big Ten universities in baseball, I think at Minnesota and Michigan. So he doesn't have to uproot his life, and I would say he certainly has moves to in a better franchise, a franchise with far more resources than what he's been butting his head up against in Milwaukee. So I think there's logic there. I think the biggest question is, what was that conversation like for Jed with David Ross?
He flew down to Florida.
He did fly down. Yeah, you have to. They less than a month ago, Jed and Tom Ricketts both endorsed him publicly, saying he's their manager going forward. They are more than happy with his performance despite the failings of this season, which I think they're rightly taking your point of view. Like, he overachieved with that team, a team that was expected to have potentially 70, 75 wins, 77. They finished 1 game short of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who ended up going to the World Series, which shows you what a razor thin edge that the baseball season, especially the baseball playoffs are. So, I mean, can you the Rossi, the legend as a player, with the Cubs, he was loved as a manager. I think a lot of people, questioned a lot of his bullpen decisions, which again, I think are bullshit. He caught a lot of flack, but everybody catches flack on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, everyone catches flack at any point for bullpen decisions.
Yeah, but I think he
Even
was
when, like you said, it's not the manager's fault. You know,
at some point you
it's a
got to
fun
blame the
thing to talk about.
players.
Though. You can always question it, though. It's always going to
Yeah,
be scrutinized.
it's very
Just
easy
like,
because when it doesn't work, you can call it out. But the 15 times it
yeah,
does work, you don't say anything about it. So,
yeah, exactly.
but
So, I mean, it's always going to be a topic of
I think
conversation.
overall he was very popular as the Cubs manager, and it's just stunning how this played out. So I've got mixed feelings about it. I guess I think the Cubs improved themselves, and I think that's the way Hoyer looks at it. We'll see how much. I guess is the key to that.
Word Hole Media.